Hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I am truly blessed. Our power didn't go off the whole day, but we don't talk about it. We are just so happy we had power the whole day. And I've got amazing guests that is going to blow your socks off. One of my guests cannot be here, and I send her all my love and all my praise that what she is needed to do today, it's a big thing. And only God can get her through this. So my beautiful Valeda Morris, I send you all my love and my praise. So, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to greet the beautiful Diamond Beauties Forever on my amazing private group. Remember, if you give us a comment, you have to put your name in the beginning or at the end because we will not know who is giving us some love notes. And then my beautiful Tanzanite heroes, thank you so much for viewing this. We are going live onto both of those two groups. So thank you so much for being in my space. And I am truly blessed to be me. So today we're talking about emotions. And when I decided on this amazing session's title, I called it Whispers of the Soul. I hope that you will love that as well. So for me, what is your emotions? And on Sunday, when I want to let everyone know about that Disney movie that I loved, I was so scared I'm going to say the wrong name. And then in the middle of the show, I actually went and looked. It is Inside Out. So I don't know if any of you saw Inside Out. When this little girl is going through emotions, she's got a jealous side, a happy side, a sad side, an anger side, all of the emotions that's all inside of us. And it depends on what we are spending our time on the most. I think that is what sometimes people say, but Sanet, you're always happy. There's nobody on earth that can be so happy like you. I made a decision every morning. I am going to be happy because I have another day. I've opened my eyes. I could breathe. I'm living. I can give love and I can receive love. And by the end of the day, I will not go to bed with my hat, but by the end of the day, I will say to myself, Sanet, did you leave your sparkle in somebody's heart and memory? And yes, I will do a tick because I know I have. But that is my choice every day. What is your choice? How do you start your day? Remember that beautiful saying from Kung Fu Panda? And Eleanor Rosenfeld also have given this quote. They say, Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. And that's why it's called the present. How are you going to unwrap your beautiful bow? Open your present day and enjoy every minute. Oh, I'm deep today. I'm so deep today. Are you ready to take 3 deep breaths with me? And then I'm going to play my beautiful sponsor, Jose Escobar's video. And then my guest will be here. My guest will be here. So excited. I cannot hide it. Are you ready? Here we go. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Another one in. Exhale. Last one in. Exhale. Wow. Beautiful. Here we go.
Is Jose Escobar. I live in Washington, D.C. area. I'm a family man. I'm an entrepreneur, coach, author, and speaker. I have communities, I support people, I'm a servant leader, and the list goes on. And I'm primarily the CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. That's my bread and butter. That's my core offer, right? That's where I put most of my time and energy. And the Connected Leaders Academy is a growing community. It's a tribe of some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. We're now over 350 plus members, 42 states across the US, and 17 international countries. If you're an entrepreneur out there that's looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more money, more clients, right? This is the community for you.
Thank you, my beautiful Jose Escobar from the Connectors Leaders Academy for being my sponsor. And I would love to have 2 or 3 more sponsors for the Power Hour TV show, as I do have 2 big shows every week. So I would love that. Please connect with me. So my beautiful Lynn, I do see that Adelaide have left us, but she had an unstable internet from the beginning. So I'm sure she will come in again. So I say thank you for being here. Your story is amazing. You have come and told your story quite a few times for the Diamond Beauties live on Zoom. And last year, you also came to inspire us um, when we had our show on the TV show. So thank you for being here. I know we had an early show and then you went on a trip to Vietnam, so you can tell us about it if you want to. But if now, for now, can you please introduce yourself and tell us what emotions means for you?
Well, thank you very much, Sanet, for allowing me to come back again. And it was quite a pleasure to be on your show for many times already and allow me to share my stories. And obviously, one of the biggest the stories that really means to me was when my dad and I left Vietnam in 1982 on a small fishing boat. And we were lost for 21 days until we got rescued. And just like you mentioned, on January 8th, both my daughter and I went back to Vietnam, and I got to visit the home, not just only the hometown, but the home, my home that I left behind. Luckily, the home is still there. All the walls are down except for one. So a cousin of mine left the back wall there. It's preserved, and I'm so grateful that I still get to see that. The house is supposed to have six coconut trees, yep, and all five are gone, but one is still left, and I'm so happy that that one standing after 41 years, waiting for me and my daughter to come back. And then I also got an opportunity to walk to the beach where I left with my dad on that small fishing boat, and I get to see the boat, a replica of when I left in 1982, which was 41 years ago. So when you ask me, what's my emotions, I feel joyful, happy, sad as well, but at the end of the day, I feel blessed. I feel blessed to have the opportunity in order for me to come to America and then now able to share my stories. So for those who are feeling sad, depressed, or feeling down, that if I can share my stories to lift up their spirit, that is my goal, and that is my mission. And that's the reason why when I established my company, which is called Kinetic Mind, basically I help people to master their mind and focus on what matters most. So that is my mission.
Wow, so I put my glasses on. If I put my glasses on, I got goosebumps here at the back. I have goosebumps all over. I want to say, wow, what an incredible story. I remember you said, oh, Sanet, this is a dream come true. And I would love to be on your show, but I am going to do a bucket list of mine. So I'm so happy you did it. I'm so happy that they left the one hole for you to see. I'm so happy about the coconut tree. So there's a blessing in everything, and everything we do, there's a blessing. So thank you so much, my beautiful Lynn. So just quickly talking about emotions. you now took your daughter with you. So first of all, I want to find out how was your emotions to see your daughter's face when whatever you had to show her, and how was her emotions be able to do this trip with you?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny, right? My daughter now is 20 years old, and growing up, I have always been telling her about my stories about my journey on how my dad and I come to America. And you would think when you tell your children the same stories over and over again that they will get it. But then one day she just knocked on my door and she goes, Dad, a friend of mine just told about her dad's story and how her family came to America on a boat. And I was like, wait, I've been telling you that stories too. And then I was like, you know what? But I'm so happy that she's able to ask. And because of her asking that, that what leads me to write my book, which is my memoir. So the beginning of this year, which was back in January, uh, it was supposed to be a trip for myself that I was gonna go back to Vietnam because I was asked to do a keynote over there, and to find out that my daughter also was on winter break, so she's gonna get 3 weeks off from school, and I was like, oh, why don't you go with me, and we are going to extend the trip so that we can go and visit my hometown. At first she was excited because she has that idea of just only going back to Vietnam with me. Because I mean, she was born here in America and she never had a chance to go to Vietnam before. And so the first few days when we were in the north side of Vietnam where I did my keynote, it really didn't sink in yet. Both of us were just happy that we were there, and we finally get immersed into the culture, especially for her because it's the first time her actually seeing all Vietnamese. But on the third day, when both of us took that flight from North Vietnam to Central Vietnam, which is where my hometown is, um, I was having mixed emotions. I was like, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to feel? I don't know how she's going to feel. She was sitting across from me on the other aisle of the airplane. But when we landed, my cousin picked both of us up from the airport. Now, instead of taking us straight to the hotel, we drove for 40 minutes from the airport to the countryside, which was the place where I was born. Instead of visiting the home first, for us Vietnamese, we are very uh, gracious or pay respect to our ancestors, right? So he brought us to the cemetery site instead. So for my book, for my memoir, the very first chapter that I wrote about was how I left Vietnam and how much I remember my grandfather. So he brought me to my grandfather's grave because after a couple of years when I left Vietnam, my grandfather passed away. So I remember walking towards the grave. I was already kind of bottled up with mixed emotions. Right, I was like, am I going to cry? Am I gonna go hold it in, or how am I gonna feel? And then my daughter was just walk right in back of me. But right when I reach the grave, that's when I start bawling just like a little baby. And then and when my daughter saw her dad cry at the same time, she started crying too. And it's kind of funny how when both of us got back to the hotel and I was asking her, I said, hey, Lara, so how did you feel? And she goes, to be honest with you, Dad, I was just only wanting to go back to Vietnam just to see, how Vietnam looks like, how the Vietnamese sound, instead of speaking English all the time here. But I did not expect to cry, but to see that you cried in front of me today, I felt for you, and I can finally see the importance of our heritage and our ancestors. As a matter of fact, both of us were just talking about it, just a week ago, and she was like, Dad, I can't wait to go back to Vietnam again because I really want to see more. I really want to understand more about our ancestors.
That is incredible. You have now installed in her
Yeah.
a part of her heritage. How incredible. Wow. That's beautiful. I love it. Thank you for telling us the story. So, my beautiful Lynn, it looks like we're going to be by ourselves, and that's all perfectly well. So, can you tell us a little bit about your book? Why did you decide to do the book? And you tell us your reviews that you received from people already that was blowing your mind, your socks off with the reviews. If you can tell us, and I don't know if you have your book, maybe you can show us your book as well.
Yeah, fortunately, I didn't bring it down here with me, but I can certainly talk about my book. The title of the book, it's Split Up by the Sea. And so 3 years ago, when I decided to write. I mean, just a little bit about my background. Now, I went to school to become an engineer. So, as an engineer, you will never think about writing. All you want to do is be in the corner somewhere there and solve formulas and stuff like that, and just leave me alone because as engineer, you're just an introvert, and you just want to be left alone, finish your job, and then go home. Um, until when I became a supervisor in a leadership role, I wanted to motivate my employees, right? So one day I was sitting and I was, typing up, lists of things on how to motivate your employees, and it just so happened that every time when I'm writing um, the list, I keep bringing back examples on how Dad and I were on that boat and how we did not succumb to fear and just forge ahead and able to be rescued. And so that's when I said, you know what, let me take a different approach. Instead of writing something that's motivational, let me write my memoir instead. And so I started writing. And like I mentioned earlier, up until that day when my daughter wanted to know more, and that's when I solidified my decision. I said, you know what, I have to write. And there were a lot of times that I just have to close the door and just cry all alone, because when you write a memoir, you disclose a lot of information about yourself. And there were times I'm asking myself, how much do I want the world to know about me? And when I finally sink in, with my emotions, and I said, you know what, I'm sure there will be hundreds of thousands of people out there that might go through what I went through. Maybe not on a boat, but the obstacles that I faced, probably they face something that's similar to. So if I can write this book, and if this book can get into their hands, I am sure that it's going to help them, and it's going to be relatable enough so that they can be inspired and have the same hope and faith like I had, in order to overcome the obstacles that were given to us in life. And for me, I feel as though having obstacles are the best thing, because that's when you get to discover who you really are. And so I just got my wife came up and took the book down. So this is the book here. When I wrote this book, it was amazing that I thought, it would just be sitting on the shelf and no one would be reading it, right? And I got over that hump too. And I said, hey, you know what? An engineer can also be an author. And as I'm writing, I keep on thinking, you know what? My daughter was curious. She was the one who asked me about this book. So why not I just focus on writing this book just for her? Uh, Long and behold, when this book was published, um, it was the best seller on Amazon the day that was debut. So my message to anyone out there is, don't let anything hold you back. Just do it, make yourself fulfilled, that it was your goal, it was your dream, and whatever the result may be, the result is out of your control, but your action is within your control. So just do it. And if it's great result, thank you, awesome. If the result is not what you expected, it's okay, because you did it, and that's what's important.
That is what important. That's so amazing. So, just a quick to tell you, I've got an amazing magazine called Diamond Moment Magazine, and part of the illuminated author, this is an investment that the author must make, but part of it, I wanted to highlight them on a TV show, or at the moment, it's not a TV show, it's just a show that goes out to the two groups, but we have to do about 12 shows to pilot I can present it to the network. And my beautiful Len, that was one of my big dreams is when this author invests to be the illuminated author in the Diamond Moment magazine, they will get a banner at the back of the magazine for a whole year. So in 2 months' time, we had more than 7,000 people that have looked at our magazine, and it's only
Wow.
issue 7. We are now busy with issue 8. But a big dream of mine is to bring that beautiful author on a
Mm,
panel to discuss their book. So we actually have started a month ago. I've got
mm,
4 amazing people that is helping me to be the panelist on this. But the reason why I'm telling you this, my book was on Amazon and it has been taken off for a couple of reasons. And for a year, my book didn't go anywhere, and it will be going on to Amazon soon. The proper way, if I can call it like the right proper way. And but I was the spotlight author. So
mm.
I was like, yeah, and yesterday I felt like my book is not on Amazon, and the first thing was a disaster. But being there, they asked me questions out of the book, and I experienced that beautifulness that people have read my book and they
Wow.
are asking me questions, and I have goosebumps and my heart is very full. So I understand totally what you say, that you was blown away by all the blessings that your book was a bestseller, and you thought your book will only be on the shelf, and so many people have read it. So I understand that after yesterday, I understand totally. And maybe you will be one of the days you will be one of our illuminated authors, and then we can also bring you to the show on a Wednesday, because I had a ball yesterday. I was like, oh, I could wish the show could not be an hour, but 3 hours. It was so beautiful for me. So yes, we can talk about it. But what I wanted to say is, sometimes when you take the action, you take that step, and you do what you said you're gonna do, you inspire even more people. So I hope by listening to you, and even in the replay today, that people will feel if they want to do a book, do the book, take the action. Because I know fear is a big thing, and inside out, fear was like, fear you that animated was like fearful, but sometimes you need to step out of your fear. So what can you, and we're going to stay with the book now because it's only me and you, and what can you tell people that wants to do a book but are fearful, maybe what other people will say, or just fearful? What can you give them some advice, please?
That is such an amazing question, and I think somehow, Sanet, you like reading my mind, and I will certainly go into depth. But first, I want to go back to your comments earlier. It's about how people reaching out to you, and ever since when I published this book, which has been more than a year now, I got people who reach out to me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and they thank me for writing this because I have a person as recently as 3 weeks ago who said, my story and yours are 90% alike. The only differences were the names and the location. Otherwise, we went through the same exact journey. And right when I saw that message, and I was like, well, are you free just to have a coffee chat? And the person was just so happy, and we actually got on Zoom and start chatting, and we feel that connection. So when you do something like this, writing a book or whatever, having your own YouTube channel, TV channel like this, you just don't know how many people that are listening and will be inspired. So whatever your mission is, don't give up. If this is your dreams, if this is your calling, just do it for that particular one person. Like for me, initially I thought about writing for my daughter because I thought I'm just an engineer. No, I'm not the greatest writer, but when you are genuine, when you are authentic, with your words, your writing, and your stories, people appreciate that and people like that. You don't have to be the best uh, person who writes literature. You just someone there who's willing to share the stories. And as for your question on how overcome the fear, it's so amazing that you were able to read my mindset, because in October of 2023, I published my second book. Uh,
I didn't even know. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So the title of this book is "Break the Bricks: Breakthrough to Find the Real You." And the bricks, of course, it's a metaphor for either fear, self doubt, judgment, imposter syndrome, and things that are holding you back. And the reason why I decided to come up with the title "Break the Bricks" was because also my background. I have done martial arts for the last 40 years. And in martial art, we were taught a lot about discipline and overcoming barriers and stuff like that. And I said, hey, what is exactly holding us back? It's that wall. It's that wall that we use our own illusions to put in front of us, right? So I think, hey, if you want to discover who you are, it's time for you to just punch it through, right? Punch it through, because your potential is on the other side of the wall. Now, it's easy to say versus being done, isn't it? Right. So, as an engineer, I put on my engineering hat and I said, hey, let me come up with a system on how to overcome this fear. And that's when I came up with a system that every time when you get knocked down, your job is to rise. And then how are you supposed to rise? So I used that word rise. I broke into an acronym, and that acronym is actually the method on how to rise and how to overcome fear in order to find the real you. So rise, R stands for recognize, I is to initialize, S is to strategize, and E is to energize. And I'm going to explain this. So how do we rise? The first thing is you have to recognize, right? So let me use my example of being an author. At first, I recognized what was my fear. So I thought that, like you said, my book would just be sitting on the shelf and no one would be reading it, right? But once I recognized that fear and I understood that, I reframed my thought. And I said, hey, you know what? If I cannot inspire, hundreds of people, thousands of people, then I'm just going to inspire that one person, and that person is my daughter. So now that when I recognize and reframe, then okay, I just pass that step. Now the next step is to initialize. When you initialize, just like when you exercise, right? On a certain days, you just feel like, oh, I'm just not motivated to pick up this weight to do anything. But believe it or not, once you start moving, you create momentum, right? It just strange that way. And once you start creating momentum, it keep on rolling, right? So what I tell people is you gotta just initialize, just move. If you not feeling like writing, just take a pen or nowadays on a keyboard and just type away, just write, just do anything as long as you move. The next thing you know, 5-10 minutes, you start rolling, right? And then the next step is to S is to strategize. Anything you do, right, in order for you to reach your goal, you got to have a strategy. You got to know where you were going. Again, regarding to the book, I didn't want to think big, right? I didn't want to think that I'm going to start, writing, pages and pages. But instead, I started to think small. I'm going to write paragraphs, right? Because writing paragraphs is more doable than writing pages. So that was my mindset. I'm just going to do that. And then last but not least, E is to energize, right? So just like you, Sanet, in the beginning, when you turn on that video, you were dancing, you were excited, you were getting ready that, hey, the show, it's about to begin, and we're just excited to bring, my speakers on, my guests on, and that's the same thing with anything that you do in life. You got to have that energy, you got to have that excitement, right? Because without the energy, without the excitement, you're just going to give up halfway. So with that, recognize, initialize, strategize, and energize. If you can have these four elements, in your mindset, and every time when you have that obstacle or any obstacle that's in front of you, you apply it, and I guarantee that you will get over that hurdle, over that hump, and you will see yourself on the other side of the wall. And I have all of that in my book, Break the Bricks.
Wow, I love it. I do actually have sound effects, but last week it didn't want to work. So let me see if it is, if the applause crowd are cheering working. Let me hear. No, I don't know why it doesn't want to go. But anyway, I was trying to see if I can click on this one. No, it doesn't want to go. Okay. I do see Addie here. But she doesn't, the camera is not on. So I'm going to quickly test something and bring her in studio. But I do believe I will have to take her out again. So just give me 1 second.
No problem.
Oh, no. We cannot pick her up, Asham. That's her internet. So I will have to put her back in the back studio. And then I'm communicating in the back studio with her. So if her camera goes on, I will ask her if she's ready and then bring her back. So, my beautiful Lynn, can I quickly tell the viewers where I met you? Can I tell them? Can I tell them? So it was almost 3 years ago. I joined in May the Speaker Speak Live, May 2021. And I cannot remember if you were there in May, but you were there from June. I
Right.
remember June. And you come and tell us your story, your 10-minute speech.
Yeah.
And I was hanging on your lips because your story was so incredible. Your story was so heartfelt. And can you remember you were finished? I let you know in the chat. Can we please have a coffee chat?
Yep. Yep.
I sent you a friend request the next. Well, I think it was the same day,
Yeah.
and we met soon for a coffee chat. And my beautiful Lynn, when I ask you what is your forever song, and you're gonna tell me now what your favorite. But when you told me, can you remember how happy I am with your song? So
Yeah.
please tell the viewers out there, what is your forever song?
Yeah. So for me, I have the tiger. I just resonate so well with that song because, like I said, my entire life is always, feeling at that low point, and I know it's time to rise up. And I just love the beat, the momentum, and even the lyrics to that song. And every time when I get, into a show like this, or I'm about to get on a stage, I have to play that song because that's the excitement that I want. That's the energy that I want to, exude in myself, and so that I can bring it and share it with, my audience.
Wow. Can I tell you something? So I do go on stage with this beautiful hat of mine with the flowers, with an African dress and African beads, but I don't have shoes on. And then when I come out, I was, hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, how are you feeling? And then the next thing is I will ask them, when last did you stop and smell the roses? I can then already see people is pointing that I don't have shoes. And afterwards, people will ask me, do the people in Africa wear shoes? It's so funny. And then I will say to the DJ, please play my song. And my forever song is Walking on Sunshine. Then
Mhm.
I've got a few people moving with me, but not a lot. Then I do a little bit of my speech. And then my
Mhm.
second dance, I do 4 dances. My second dance is Eye of the Tiger. So by that time, the people are getting more in movement. Some people are standing and dance, but that's not a lot. Okay, so
Mhm.
I just want to tell you, your song is part of my repertoire because I love Eye of a Tiger. I love the Rocky movies. I love. And then my third song is it's You Simply the Best because it fits
Mm,
in from where my speech is. You have to take your own action. If you're gonna wish upon a dream, you're gonna wish upon a dream and it will never come true if you don't take your action. So Simply the Best by Tina Turner is in that part. And then
mm,
my last song that most people taking their shoes off and that are dancing like there's no tomorrow is it's my life, it's your life, or it's my life by Bon Jovi. And
mm.
then I want to tell people that you can have pockets of happiness during each of your day. It is as easy as take off your shoes and dance. And
Wow.
that's why my forever song and my and also when I speak to other people, I always ask them what is their forever song. But before I can continue with you, I just want to quickly tell you, and I know you remember, but dancing and a lot of more other things have helped me to lose a whole person in weight. I've learned to move more than dance, and I love to do this. And I will bring the camera closer. I will maybe use this one. So let me just get my lips ready. So that is Dory. And remember Dory in Finding Nemo, son? Keep on swimming, keep on swimming. So I tell people, keep on moving, keep on moving. If you can eat more, yeah, exercise or move more than you eat, then you will be so much better off. So, my beautiful Glenn, we actually talked a little bit about how are you serving the world? How are you not just in the place that you are, but you're also teaching others and you also are a coach. Can you please tell us who are you serving? And then can you please tell us what are you doing to make the world a better place, please?
Oh, certainly. Thank you very much. So right now, besides working as a full-time engineer, I am a chemical engineer. I work at a patent office, which basically means anyone with an invention they will just file to my agency, and we would do the approval whether that should be a legit invention or not. But that is my full-time job. My other full-time job as well is becoming an influencer. As meaning is I am on YouTube. I still write, and I also speak on stages. My main focus now is to speak to either athletes or emerging leaders, right? And I feel as though that nowadays we need all the leaders that we can have, because we there are followers who's waiting for leaders like us in order for us to reach out our hands and just help them grow, or help them elevate to their true potential. And I feel as though and even for emerging leaders, sometimes you have this what's called the imposter syndrome, and you feel as though that I'm not as good as the person to my left or the person to my right. And so my method of teaching these emerging leaders is that you just have to focus on yourself, focus within versus the left or the right, and continue with your path. And every time when you see an obstacle for you, and I'm sure this has been said by other speakers, like famous speakers like Jim Rohn, where he said don't let the obstacle obstruct you, but let it instruct you. And I totally believe in that, and that was the reason why in the beginning I said when you see obstacles, don't run away, because those are the experiences that you need in order for you to become a better person. And those are the kind of experiences that you as leaders later on going to share with your followers, because without you experiencing them, it's very hard for your followers to picture what you have gone through. So when I'm on the stage or stages, my first and foremost is to share my story, because when I can immerse my audience or my followers into my stories, I feel that they can ride along with me, and then they can learn the lessons. Um, so basically, actually, the next 2 months, I will be talking to a group of leaders, and I'm looking forward to that because I feel that it is my mission, because every single one of us have stories. So when you are asked to share your stories and you say, no, my life is boring, your life is not boring. None of our lives are boring. We all have stories. It's how you put it into perspective, so others can understand and appreciate what you have gone through. But we all have stories. Never say that we don't have one.
Yes, my beautiful Lynn, you are so right. And I throughout this last 3 years, I've created this beautiful platform first on Zoom and now on the network to help real people with real stories. Do you
Mm.
know how many, especially ladies, told me, but their story is not interesting, or but they didn't go through big things. And then when I start to talk, Michael, I always say, Michael, you've got an incredible story. Did you ever told your story to somebody? No. And then when I tell them, then they start to say, yes, they will come to the TV show, or yes, they will do something. But a lot of people think they are not worthy enough and their stories are not good enough to come and tell. But you are so right. Everybody has a story. Everybody was uniquely been born with their own wisdom and talents. And you have a story. You are not a robot. If you're a human, you've
Yeah.
got a story. I love that. I love that. I changed my focus a little bit in the last 2 weeks.
Mm,
I am now calling myself, I am the voice of millions. And now you will love it. You will love it. I call myself the voice of millions, having spaces and platforms for beautiful souls to come and tell their stories through
mm,
the TV, through the I'm gonna start a public a pub, I'm gonna be Soul Diamond Publishers,
mm,
and then also part of it is the magazine. So I'm gonna create all the spaces where stories, authentic stories, will go out to the world, and through that. I'm hoping that my brand can be the Earth's most heart-centered brand, to provide experience to fill the world with love, joy, and happiness. So that is just my vision. Can you tell us what is your vision, my beautiful Lynn?
and it's kind of funny when you mention about your stories worth millions. Uh, Again, earlier when I mentioned that my background is it's engineering, and and I'll be honest, when even in my 20s, my 30s, I thought I would just be sitting in the corner, just only solving formulas and equations and stuff like that. But once I decided to become an author, a public speaker, that's when I spend more time by myself, sitting and reflecting what had happened in my life, right? And while reflecting, that's when stories start popping up, and you're like, oh my goodness, I just spent 10 minutes thinking about what just happened. But those 10 minutes in your mind, actually, when you start telling that story, it comes out to be like a whole hour, right? 10 minutes of images in your mind is actually 1 hour of storytelling. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I have so much stories in here that I want to preserve. And that's when I took out my own diary too, and I start writing down just chunks here and there, what had happened during the story, what exactly was the wisdom, what have I learned, and then over here I'll be like, okay, what's the transformation? And so I have a book filled with many of my stories when I was a child, 8 years old, leaving my country, stranded in the middle of the sea, and overcoming a cultural difference by living in America, and how I was bullied and still able to overcome that, and then later on become an engineer, and then later on overcoming imposter syndrome, and now I am a speaker. and an author. And so my vision for the future is I just want to be on a stage. I just want to be on social media on a platform like this, just to continue sharing my stories and uplift those who are watching, that you can be the same or even better than Len Tran, because like I said, we all have potentials. We just don't have actions, right? So my goal is, I'm telling you right now, if you watch this, whatever that you want to do, just start doing. Don't worry about the results. Just start doing it.
Yes, I love it. One of the ladies in my group, her name is Cindy Editing. She said she made a decision to say yes with discernment, and she have now done so many things in the Diamond Beauties because she took a chance on me and have a coffee chat. So my beautiful Lynn, in 1 week it will be 20 months. In 20 months, I've done today my 423 coffee chats in
Wow.
20 months. I have
Wow.
danced with all of them except with one gentleman and one woman. I have danced with all of them on their Forever song. But I have learned so much. I've learned all over the world. People has the same. They want to be loved. They want to take care of their family.
Right.
It's the same. And then if I ask them, what is your wildest dream? What is your biggest dream if money is not obstacle? Almost 87 of all people I've spoken to said they want to travel the world. They want to show people they came through adversity and they are thriving now. And they want to show people travel the world. And that's amazing how many people I have met that wants to make the world a better place. So you just being on this show today, you are making my dreams come true. You are being in my vision. So thank you so much, first of all, that you are here. So I just want to let you know I didn't get a golden nugget from you. So I just put in underneath your picture, life is good, because I looked at your bio and I asked God, what can I put in? I didn't want to have nothing in there. And I just said something about the boat. When I was reading about the boat, I just got this message to say life is good. So because I don't have your golden nugget, can you give us a golden nugget that it can be somebody else's wording it or it can be yours? I can tell you quickly mine. My golden nugget is if your why is big enough, you can do anything. You can do everything. And I have the proof of the pudding. I do have. Do you have a golden nugget that you can share with us, please?
Sure, of course, and this is very near and dear to me. And as I mentioned earlier, and I use that word imposter syndrome a lot, and because you don't believe in yourself, and it all started for me, when I first came to America, that my one of my English teacher asked me to come up to the board and to answer one of the questions. When I got up to the board, I didn't even know what the question really meant. My English was so limited, and not just only well, the question was the boy, and then fill in the blank, the stick, right? So I know what the boy means. I have no idea what the stick even means, and then I have a choice to make A, B, C, or D, and I was like, oh, you know what? When you don't know an answer, just choose C. So I chose C, and C was swallow. So then the teacher said, "Why would the boy swallow the stick?" And I thought, I don't know. Um, and at that point, when I turned around, the entire class laughed at me. Right. So when you have that kind of image in your head for a very long time, right? It you solidify with that kind of image, and so everything that I did from that point onward was, I'm not good enough. I just cannot believe in myself, and people is gonna laugh at me, right? And that kind of thinking and that kind of image that keep conjuring in my head, um, makes me to not achieve my dream, right? Makes me hold back, make me have that self doubt until when I discover that, you know what, my mind is my best friend. And I keep on rephrasing, saying that word over and over again. And that is my phrase to go. Your mind is your best friend. Your mind is your best friend. And as long as you keep telling yourself that, your mind will be with you along the way instead of against you.
Wow, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your golden nugget. Thank you so much, my beautiful Lynn. Do you have one word of advice to somebody? We've got about a minute. Do you got something that you want to give somebody, leave somebody something with?
Yes. Whatever that is holding you back right now, I want you to rise. Right? I want you to rise. I want you to recognize what's your fear. I want you to initialize, keep on moving. I want you to strategize a plan to forward, go forward, and I want you to be energized and be excited as you're moving along. Right. So go out there and start doing what you love, and just rise every time when fear knocks you down.
I love it. I love it. My beautiful Lynn, thank you so much for being here. You are amazing. I'm truly sorry. I do see Adelaide in the bottom, but the camera is still not on. So I'm sorry that we have missed her. And I'm also sorry that Valida could not be here. But you were here. You were incredible. So before I ask you to have a dance, I just want to say to everyone, my beautiful viewers out there and my beautiful diamond beauties and Tanzanite heroes, it is as easy as turn around, oops, to change your mind. And like Len said, your mind is your best friend. So please don't feel stuck. Turn around, do something different. Don't know what that difference is going to make in your life. So, my beautiful Len, can I ask, will you have a dance with me?
Let's do it.
Yes, my beautiful viewers out there, will you have a dance with us? Lynn, they said yes, they said yes. Here we go.
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun. Sprinkle me with fairy dust and cover me with
Lynn,
love. From butterflies to eagles, oh, there's magic in that light.
wow. Thank you.
Sprinkle.
Thank you, my beautiful Lynn. Thank you, my beautiful viewers. So, Lynn, if you can stay on for me, we're going to say goodbye to everyone. And I will quickly want to tell you about the magazine and how I'm going to honor you again for being on the show. So, my beautiful viewers out there, have an amazing day, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. And then I want to say, please take care of yourself. Smile often every day. And keep on dancing. Mwah. Bye, everyone.